Yes, peace, 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 royal family, peace. Just gonna wait and see, get some people in the building here. Okay. Okay, my sound is right. Oh, so I see. Yeah, okay. We got one person. Okay, peace to whoever you are. Okay, let's see here. So just give me a couple minutes here, okay? And let me first say peace, royal family, Hotep and Amun Ra. This is your brother Radio One, aka Pharaoh Mitzrahim. And the title of this video is Fake Modern Egyptians and Their Arab Ancestors. Okay, that is the title we're going to be getting off into today because there's some truth that needs to be revealed on this subject. Okay, like a lot of people who speak on this subject, they never show a source. So today we're going to show a source. Okay. So yeah, let me check my sound. If anybody in the building, let me know if I sound good or not. So let's see here. Okay. Let's see here. Yeah, just give me a minute, okay? We're gonna get right off into it. We're gonna go about maybe about an hour and a half, hour 45 minutes, however long it takes. Let's see here. Okay, come on. All right. Let me make sure my sound is good. Okay. Let's see here. Okay. Just make sure I'm live. Okay. All right. We live and ready to go. All right. We live and ready to go. All right. We good to go. We good to go. Let's go. Get it. Let's get it. Okay. Yes. Peace. Peace. Come on in. Come on in. All right. Come on in. Yeah. This is a very important subject. Okay. Fake modern Egyptians and their Arab ancestors. Okay. So yeah, we're going to be dealing with a source today. Okay. Uh, yeah, we got quite a few people in. Welcome everybody. Welcome. Okay. Welcome. Also, I want to give a shout out and a special thank you to Sister May for your donation on that Cash App, and I also want to give a shout out and a special thank you to Joey Ray or Joe Ray for that Cash App. I really appreciate that. But yeah, so yeah, so you heard the lies on the other channels, okay? But now you're going to hear the truth on this channel, okay? Because this channel here is a place of truth, okay? So so here's the deal. Now yeah, let me say first peace royal family. For those of you already tuning in, we're going to get off into the subject fake modern Egyptians and their Arab ancestors. Now, here's what's here's the mainstream opinion or point of view that's being spread today. The modern day Egyptians are descendants of the ancient Egyptians. That is what most white Egyptologists say. You know, a lot of these Negro pseudo scholars, and they always say it on based on their own imagination. They never show you a source. So today we're going to debunk that lie. We're going to debunk the lie that modern Egyptians are descendants of the ancient Egyptians. Okay? We're going to show the truth today. I'm going to show the true Arab ancestors of the modern day Egyptians. Yes, that's what we're going to deal with today. Okay. So yeah, for those who are watching, you can feel free to comment. Make yourself known. Yeah, we're just gonna, we're gonna have some fun today and get some truth out. But yeah, so yeah, so the deal is, in a lot of these claims are coming from DNA studies. Yes, because you hear a lot of these claims being made by geneticists. It is the geneticists who say that the modern day Egyptians are the descendants of the ancient Egyptians, okay? Which I totally disagree with, okay? And they always say that, you know, uh, DNA don't lie, genetics don't lie. Well, DNA do lie because geneticists lie, because geneticists are men and they are dishonest men, okay? And the DNA that's being manipulated by the geneticists is where the lie is coming from, okay? It is the geneticists who fabricate the DNA, manipulate the DNA, and speak on the DNA. And we can't trust the geneticists, okay? Because truth be told, we really don't know what the DNA is saying. All we know is what he is saying, okay? So yeah, let's okay. But yeah, we're gonna show the source in a minute here, but I'm just breaking down a couple things here. So we can so you guys can get a better understanding of what's going on here, okay? And also yes, I want to apologize for how bad the live stream went yesterday. Yeah, we had a live stream yesterday. And also, people, please get those likes up, okay? Please press the like button. Thank you, thank you. We got 7 people in the house. Yes, press that like button. It's surely appreciated. But yeah, I want to apologize for the live stream yesterday because it kept my live stream kept freezing up on me and it kept acting up, but still, we got through it. Everything went smooth, and I finished the live stream, and and we got some things cleared up. So yeah, but today this will be a better live stream. This live stream will go smoother today because I think yesterday I had a lot of pages open and that messed it up the live stream. But today we don't have to worry about that. And plus, I rebooted my computer, and so we should have a better live stream today. But yeah, let's get off into the subject. Now that the people are in the building, okay, we're going to get off into the subject. Now, a lot of these claims that modern Egyptians are descendants of the ancient Egyptians is coming from geneticists. And these are the same geneticists who say that the people of Sudan are more Arab than the people of Egypt. Wow. Now, if you ever heard that, you should have been gave up genetics. Because if that's the bogus claim that genetics is making, then I don't want to have anything to do with genetics. Okay, but that is not supported by history. According to history, real history, it is the modern day Egyptians who are more Arab than the Sudanese. As a matter of fact, the modern day Egyptians are more Arab than the Arabs in Saudi Arabia. They are the most Arab. It is the most Arab country in North Africa, in Africa, period. Even according to the Arab historians, they call Egypt the land of Islam, and they call the South the land of the Nuba or the land of the Sudan, but they call Egypt the land of Islam, meaning the land of the Arabs. Yes, okay, let's yeah, we got Sister May and Sister Soli, okay? Peace, Sister Soli. Peace, Sister May. Yeah, I also want to give a special thank you, Sister May, for that donation you made yesterday. I really appreciate that. Okay. But yeah, if you're just tuning in, it's about fake modern Egyptians and their Arab ancestors. Okay. But yeah, back to the subject. These are the same people who say that the Sudanese, the people of sub-Saharan Africa, are more Arab than the Egyptians. That is the most pseudo bogus claim I ever heard. And it is absolutely not supported by history. In accordance to real history, the Arabs never settled in Sudan. They got defeated by the Sudanese. Yes. But the Arabs conquered Egypt. Okay. And they conquered all of North Africa, from Egypt to Libya, Tunisia, Algeria, and Morocco. But they never penetrated in the South. They never conquered the South. So it is very wrong to say that the Sudanese are more Arab than the Egyptians. That is not historical. According to history, it is the other way around. Okay. So yeah, we're going to get off into a source. Okay. I'm going to show a source. And on this source, okay, we're not going to go all the way 3,000 years back and say these are the ancestors of the modern day Egyptians. No. No way. Okay? We're not going to do that. That is pseudo, and that is as falsehood as it gets. And anyone who does that, you are dead wrong. Okay? You cannot skip over time periods and go all the way back to 3,000 years and say, yeah, these are the ancestors of the modern day Egyptians. No, because that's not fair to the actual descendants of those Egyptians that lived during that time. Okay. And there's absolutely no respect for the ancient original written records. Okay. We have to respect the time. We have to stay within the chronology. Okay. We, as people living today in the year 2022, we cannot speak on what happened in 1910 or 1900. We cannot speak on what happened 100 years ago, 200 years ago. We can only speak on our time. Okay. Me being an 80s baby. Okay. I was born in the 80s. I can only speak on what happened during the time of President Bill Clinton. I can only speak on what happened during the time of George Bush, Barack Obama, Donald Trump, and Joe Biden. But any time further than that, I can't speak on that. Okay, my parents can. Okay, my father and mother can, but I can't. So we have to respect what the ancients wrote. We have to, okay, just as someone 2,000 years ago or 200 years ago cannot speak on our time, we cannot speak on their time. In order to find out what happened during their time, we have to go to the writings written during that time. That's the right way to do it. But if you're trying to speak on their time without using their records, then that is what we call pseudo. Okay? And we're not going to do that. Okay? And a lot of you geneticists, a lot of you guys, man, you're trying to revise history, okay, with your made up opinions. You're trying to invade the territory of history, talking about, and you're not even sure about your own genetic haplogroup studies. Your methodology makes no sense. It has no foundation. Okay, you're speaking on a dead corpse that you say lived 100,000 years ago, and you're trying to connect that with people living today and skipping over the middle. Makes no sense. And this type of fake scholarship has got to stop. It's got to stop. It makes no sense. We are, well, whoever whoever does this is doing a major dishonor to the ancients. Okay? Whoever ignores the ancient written records have no honor for the ancients. And it's not going to be tolerated here. Okay? We are going to entertain the original records here, and we're going to entertain what the records say. Okay? What the ancients say. We're going to deal with the records during that time. Okay? That's what we're going to do. So yeah. So now, before I get off into the source, okay, let's go into the chat. See, yes, peace, Sister May, Sister Soli, peace, to you, brother Jose Gomez. Okay, Soli says, yeah, I'm a dude and Christian, but find your videos interesting. I've accommodating your videos before, but it's been a long while. Yes, it's been a while. But I'm trying to stay on the scene now. So yeah, but let's see here. Peace, brother Joe Ray Jaques. Yes, I want to give a special thank you for that donation yesterday. Joe Ray Jaques said, I got kicked out yesterday. My TikTok accounts got banned, but I was able to log back onto my old TikTok account. Okay. Yeah, yesterday I just apologize to everybody for the live stream yesterday, because it went horrible. I mean, it kept freezing up on me, and it kept freezing up and coming back, and but it still went smooth. But at the very end of the live stream, that's when it really started acting up, and that's when the live stream ended, but I didn't want it to end that way, but that's how it ended. But we should not have that problem today. We should not have that problem today, because I rebooted my computer. Okay. And yesterday I had a lot of pages open as well, and I don't have that many pages open today, so it should go a lot smoother today. But yeah. So yeah, and also yesterday, that was a major distraction, because I wasn't able to pay attention to the comment section as well. But yeah, back to the subject, okay? Yeah, the modern day Egyptians, the fake modern day Egyptians. Now today, okay, because of these lying, racist, dishonest geneticists and racist, dishonest white Egyptologists, the popular opinion today is modern day Egyptians are descendants of the ancient Egyptians. Okay? And I'm telling you, some will try to say, well, the lies was being told back then, and what was said back then is a lie, and what we're telling you now, no. What's being 100, 200, they got it wrong, they got it all wrong. No, you got it wrong. You can't speak on their time. Okay? And now we know during that time we had some racist Egyptologists and racist white scholars saying that the ancient Egyptians were Caucasian. Okay, but they were wrong. But they were wrong for that, because we had older records from the ancient Greeks, even going back to the ancient Egyptian tombs, that debunked them on that. So that's how they lost that battle, because the older records from the ancient Egyptian tomb reliefs all the way to the eyewitness testimonies of the ancient Greeks, showed and proved that the ancient Egyptians were black Africans and they were not white Caucasians. Okay? But today the lies still continue. Okay? So today they're trying to go against history. Okay? Yeah, everybody who's in the building, okay, please get those likes up. Push that like button, press that like button. Okay, let's get those likes up. Thank you very much. Thank you. I appreciate it. But yeah, today they are trying to falsify history. That it's like it's almost they're saying that these events never happened. People, you got to be real about yourself. Okay, you modern day Egyptians, listen to me. Listen to me when I tell you, okay? Listen to me when I tell you the truth. Stop faking. You're not a descendant of the ancient Egyptians. Stop believing that. It is this white, dishonest white racist who is pushing that lie. Be proud of your true ancestors, okay? Be proud of your true Arab ancestors. Just as we African Americans are proud of our slave ancestors who came from West Africa. That's who we are. And you African Americans who are claiming to be indigenous and no, can't do that. You got to respect others people culture and stop trying to steal identities, okay? Go stick to the records, okay? But go by what the records say and know who you are. That is who we are. We are descendants of slaves from West Africa. People of modern day Egypt, you are descendants of Arabs from Arabia or from the Middle East who invaded Egypt in the years 639 to 641 AD. That is your ancestors, okay? And just as I was saying yesterday, it is impossible for you modern day Egyptians to prove you are a descendant of the ancient Egyptians. It is impossible. You can't do it. You cannot do it. You can try as hard as you want. You can't do it. Okay? Ancient Egypt died over 2,350 years ago. The last pharaoh fled out of Egypt 2,350 years ago, or over, I would say over 2,300 years ago. Then after that came the Persians, the Greeks, the Romans, the Arabs, and the Turks. Okay, and you can barely lay claim to any of that because a lot of you really don't know who you are. But for argument's sake, we're going to credit to you the Arab dynasty of Egypt. Okay, that is who you are. Okay, so now we're going to get off into the source. Okay, so they say, okay, they skip over time periods. Okay, so we're not going to go 3,000 years back and lie and say that the ancient Egyptians are the ancestors of the modern day Egyptians. No, we're not going to do that. We're going to tell the truth and go back 100 years ago, 200 years ago, and find out who are the true ancestors of the modern day Egyptians. Okay, so let's get off into it. Okay, let's get off into it. Okay, so the first book we're going to go to is, okay, is a book titled An account of the manners of the modern Egyptians. Okay, that is the name of written by Edward William Lane. Yeah, take note of that. Take note of that. Okay, okay, and then if you're on a computer, you can probably Google the book and you can follow me. Okay, but if not, just yeah, just use your ears and listen. You know, yeah, you know, I don't have my StreamYard, so I can't show the source, but just like you're talking on the phone to somebody and you're trying to get information by voice, you got to listen, you got to use your ears. So that's what you got to do here, and that's good. That's good. Um, sometimes you can see the information, and sometimes you got to hear the information. So, but either way, it's good. Okay. So, yeah, we're gonna go to account. Okay. And the book was written by Edward William Lane. Okay, he was a British Orientalist translator and lexicographer. Okay, it said he is known for his manners and customs of the modern Egyptians. Okay, so that is the book we're going to be reading from. Okay, now, so let's the manners and customs of the modern Egyptians. So we're going to go to an account of the manners and customs of the modern Egyptians, written by Edward William Lane, page 49. Okay, and I'm not going to read the whole thing. I'm just going to read what's relevant to the subject. Okay, so we're going to start at the beginning, and it says in quote. Okay, page 49, chapter 1, and it says in quote: Muslims of Arab origins have for many centuries mainly composed the population of Egypt. They have changed its language, laws, general manners in its metropolis. They have made the principal seat of the Arabian learning and arts. To the description of this people, and especially of the middle and higher class in the Egyptian capital, would be devoted the chief portion of the present work. Okay, so it's giving you an introduction of the Muslim Egypt, and it goes on to say, in every point of view, Masri or Cairo must be regarded as the first Arab city of our age. So we see here, he says that Cairo was the first Arab city. It was founded by Arabs. Okay, and Cairo is the city in modern day Egypt. It is the most populated city in modern day Egypt today. Yes, yes, that is the that is highest population of Egypt is in Cairo. Okay, and he is telling us that it is an Arab city. Okay, so now let's yeah. And it says, okay, then he goes on to say, and the manners and customs of its inhabitants are particularly interesting, as they are a combination of those which prevail most generally in the towns of Arabia, Syria, and the whole of North Africa, in a great degree in Turkey. There is no other place in which we can obtain so complete a knowledge of the most civilized classes of the Arabs. Okay, so now that is Edward William Lane speaking on the Arabs. Okay, now for those of you who are just joining, yes, we're reading from the book An Account of the Manners and Customs of the Modern Day Egyptians, page 49. Okay, and he goes on to say here. Okay, let's go to the next paragraph. Okay, let's see here. And he says in quote, from the statements made in the introduction to this work, it appears that Muslim Egyptians or Arab Egyptians compose nearly 4/5 of the population of the metropolis, which is computed to amount to about 240,000, and just 7/8 of that of all Egypt. And it goes on to say The Muslim Egyptians, okay, the Muslim Egyptians, which is the 90% of the Egyptians in Egypt today. And he goes on to say, okay, the Muslim Egyptians are descended from various Arab tribes and families which have settled in Egypt at different periods, mostly soon after the conquest of this country by Amir, its first Arab governor, but by intermarriages with the Copts and others who have become proselytes to the faith of El Islam, as well as by the change from life of wandering to that of citizen or of agriculturalist. Their personal characteristics have by degrees become so much altered. Okay, so yeah, we're gonna cut it short there. But did you read the part where it says the Muslim Egyptians are descendants from various Arab tribes and families who have settled in Egypt at different time periods? Okay, this is what was being said. Okay, so let's get the date on this book. This is what was being said in the 1800s. Okay, in the 1800s. Let's get the exact date on this book. Okay, let's see here. Yeah. Okay. So we're going to get the exact date on this book. Let's see here. Yeah. Okay. The book was written in 1846. It goes to show that what was being said in 1846 is entirely different from what's being said today, from what's being made up by these geneticists. Okay. So now we see here that the modern day Egyptians are descendants of these people called Arab Egyptians, okay, or Muslim Egyptians. These are the true ancestors of the modern day Egyptians, okay? So let's see here. Yeah, but as we just read, okay, let's go back to that. It says the Muslim Egyptians, okay, an account of manners and customs of the modern Egyptians by Edward William Lane. The Muslim Egyptians are descended from various Arab tribes and families which have settled in Egypt at different time periods. I don't need to read no more because that right there says it all. It says it all. Okay? And some of you guys want to sit up there and say, well, it took only 4,000 Arabs conquered Egypt. No, that's false. Actually, it was 15,000 Arabs that conquered Egypt, and those were the Arabs that conquered Egypt. Okay, there's a difference between a conquest and a migration. When you conquer a country, it is yours. You have took that country. You own that country. You can do whatever you please. You can let in whoever you want to let in. Okay, but this here is talking about the many Arab tribes that came into Egypt. Okay. Yes, we're going to get more off into it. Okay, but it's saying, okay, for those of you who just read it, the Muslim Egyptians, and these are the true ancestors of the modern day Muslim Egyptians in Egypt today, not the pharaohs. Okay, not the ancient Egyptians. These are the true ancestors of modern day Egyptians. This is the truth you find out when you stick to the chronology and stick to the records. Okay? This is the truth. So yeah. But let's see here. Let's see what else it has to say. Okay. Okay, and but yeah, that pretty much says it all. You know, you know, and it goes to show, you know, what's being said today has nothing to do what was being said hundreds of years ago, 200 years ago. Okay, okay, but it has more to say. Now, yeah, I just want to show a little something, but when I get my StreamYard back, I'm going to get more in depth to this. Okay, but yeah, as we just heard, so we're going to continue at another part of this book. Okay, okay, and we're not going to be too long on it. Not going to be too long winded. So we're going to go to let's see here. Okay. Yeah, there we go. Okay. So so we're going to go to page 255 of the same book, an account of the manners and customs of the modern Egyptians by Edward William Lane, written in 1846. Okay. 1846, that is, yeah, that is 100, over 150 years ago. Okay, or let's say over 160 60 years ago. Okay, so now we're going to go to page 255 of that same book. Okay, and it says here in quotes, the fellaheen of Egypt can be, okay, uh, wait a minute, let me get this off my screen. Okay, okay, let's start over. Page 255 of an account of the manners and customs of the modern Egyptians, page 255, and it says in quote, the fellaheen of Egypt cannot be justly represented in a very favorable light with regard to their domestic and social condition and manners. In the worst points of view, they resemble their Badawi ancestors without possessing many of the virtues of the inhabitants of the desert, unless in an inferior degree in the customs which they have inherited from their forefathers, often have a very baneful effect upon their domestic state. It has before been mentioned that they are descended from various Arab tribes who have settled in Egypt at different periods, and that distinction of tribes is still preserved by the inhabitants of the villages throughout this country. Now, did you read that? It says the fellaheen, okay? And these are the people who they try to say are the true Egyptians. But it's saying right here, the fellaheen. Did you pay close attention to that? I'm going to read it again. The fellaheen are descended from various Arab tribes who have settled in Egypt at different time periods, and that the distinction of tribes is still preserved by the inhabitants of the villages throughout this country. So we see here Edward William Lane, who visited Egypt in the year 1840 in the 1800s, is clearly saying that the fellaheen in Egypt are descendants of various Arab tribes who invaded Egypt in different time periods. Okay, and he says that distinction of tribes is still preserved by the inhabitants of the villages throughout this country. So, so it's telling you who the ancestors of these modern day Egyptians are. They are descendants of various Arab tribes who came into the country. This has nothing to do with the 4,000 and 15,000 Arab soldiers that conquered Egypt. Okay. After the Arabs conquered Egypt, it is telling you All these Arab tribes invaded Egypt, came into Egypt, and settled in Egypt. Okay? And that is why Egypt is 90% Arab. Do not sit up here and tell me that you lost your language, you lost your culture, and you're still in your land. No, you never lost your language and you never lost your culture because it is not your culture in the first place. It was never your culture. Your ancestors came from Saudi Arabia. Your ancestors came from the Middle East. Okay, your ancestors were those Arabs, was those Islamic Arabs who invaded Egypt and settled in Egypt. Those are your true ancestors. Okay, don't sit up here and tell me you lost your culture and you was converted. No, you was not converted. You invaded Africa. You invaded the land and settled there. That's why you speak the Arabic language. That's why you're a Muslim. And that's why the Arab historians clearly called Egypt and North Africa the land of Islam, meaning the land of the Arabs, because the Arabs invaded. Okay, now those black Africans to the south, okay, whether it be West Africa or Sudan and that area, those Africans were converted. But the people in Egypt, no, they were not converts. They were Arab invaders. They were foreigners who settled in the land. That's who the real modern Egyptians are. They conquered the country. Same with America. When the Europeans conquered America, they let in many other Europeans. And that is why you see a white majority in America today. And that's why you see the Native Americans are almost extinct and wiped out. This is the true ancestors of the modern day Egyptians. And you modern day Egyptians who are listening to me, don't get mad at me for telling you the truth. I'm telling you the truth. Your ancestors were the Arab invaders, the Arab foreigners who came into Africa and settled in Africa, who invaded Egypt and settled in Egypt. That is your true ancestors. Okay? Okay? And to make it even more interesting, some of you guys' ancestors came later than that. Some of your ancestors were the Turks who came almost hundreds of years after the Arab invaders. Okay? Now, keep in mind, this book was written in 1846. Okay? That is, let's do the math here. Okay? Let's do the math here. 1846. That is 1,200 years, over 1,200 years after the first Arab invasion. Okay? That is way more than enough time for Arab tribes to invade to invade and settle in Egypt, in Africa. 1,200 years after the Arab invasion, showing you like during that time from 641 AD to 1846, all these Arab tribes invaded Egypt, migrated into Egypt, and settled in Egypt. And that is why Egypt is the most Arab country of the Arab world. Okay? Don't sit up here and tell me you lost every trace of your language, culture, but you're still in the land. Wow. Okay? And like I said, no, you did not lose your language and culture. because it was never yours in the first place. That's what I'm telling you. Okay. And a lot of people are still migrating and living in Egypt, whether it be Americans, Asians, but uh 50 years from now, 100 years from now, the descendants of those people are going to be saying, yeah, we are Egyptians. We are the descendants of the pharaohs. That's what they're going to be saying, knowing good and well their parents was a white American from America or some Chinese person from China. People, we have to respect history, okay? And a lot of you so-called pseudo scholars, you are afraid to entertain this subject because you're afraid to tell the truth. You're afraid that your white counterparts and your Arab slave masters and your white slave masters are going to get angry at you for telling the truth. Well, I don't care. I'm here to tell the truth. Okay? And it feels good to tell the truth. Yes, it may fear you. Okay, you may be bothered by it, but once you do it, you're going to feel good about yourself. Okay? And that's what I'm doing. So we just read that the ancestors, okay, of the modern day Egyptians are descendants of various Arab tribes. Okay. Yes. So yeah, we're gonna so now that we know that, okay, we brought out the source. That is 100% solid, genuine, accurate source that cannot be refuted by any modern day opinion. Okay? Because that's what these guys try to do. They try to refute you with their opinions. And that's not going to work. Okay? That is a source dated to its time, telling you the truth about the true origins and ancestors of the modern day Egyptians today. Okay? Just as our ancestors were the slaves who lived in America 300, 400 years ago, 200 years ago, those are the true ancestors of the modern day Egyptians who lived in Egypt 150 years ago. And it clearly said, okay, and keep in mind, this was way before your genetic studies and all that. During this time, 1800s, genetic studies and all that field, it didn't exist. It did not exist. Okay, that is the truth that was known during that time. And that is the truth we have to respect and acknowledge. Okay, and stop trying to revise history with your made up modern day pseudo opinions. Okay, okay, that is the truth from a primary source during that time. And your fake fabricated genetics cannot refute that. Okay, so yeah, let's check out the comment section. Welcome everybody. Okay, yeah, we got brother Tory Bolton. Yes, peace, brother. Peace. Welcome, welcome, brother. Welcome. Yeah, he's a young brother. You know, very bright young. I can tell he's a very bright young brother that has an open mind and you know, and ready to learn. And hey, and that's good, man. Yeah, that's good. You know, yeah. So yeah, that way when you learn and you become educated, you know, because you're going to be surrounded by many liars and ignorant, you know, ignorant people, you know, and as you as a young brother, you gaining this knowledge and getting educated like you are, you know, you're going to be the one who, you know, correct them on their lies and falsehood, and you're going to be the one to teach them the truth, you know, and tell them that what they're saying is wrong, you know. So yeah, welcome Tory Bolton. Okay, we have Rhea. Halu, okay, okay. She says, what about the Romans? So many invaders of Africa, delusional. Says you're not Egyptian. No, you got it wrong, Mina. Okay, I am Egyptian. My people here in America are Egyptians. Okay, we are the true Egyptians. We are the descendants of Kemet, the true the true Egyptians. That's who we are. Okay, we are Cometian or Kemetic. That's who we are. So do not confuse us with the fake Egyptians in modern Egypt. Okay, okay. We are actually the only Egyptians. We are the last surviving bloodline of the ancient Egyptians and the pharaohs. Okay, if you knew history, then you would know that. Okay, and that's why you have to watch my videos and pay attention. Okay, because you're speaking out of ignorance right now when you say that. Okay, she says ancient Egyptians was obviously Nubians and Cushites. Okay, yes, they were descendants of Nubians and Cushites. Yes. Okay, but the ans the descendants of the ancient Egyptians are the African Americans and sub-Saharan Africans of today. If you knew history and if you understood history, then you would know that. Okay. But yeah, let's move on. Yeah, welcome to the chat. Okay. So yeah, you are wrong, Mina, when you say we are not Egyptians. I am the true Egyptian. Okay. We are the last surviving bloodline of the Egyptians. No one else can claim that lineage except us. Okay? The records say we are the true descendants of the ancient Egyptians, and I am not playing when I say that. And I will challenge anybody on that. And I promise you, you will lose. Okay? You will not win against the original history and records. Okay, the truth is in the original history. Okay, so we have Jennifer Akim in the house. Yes, peace, sister, peace. She says the ladies in the house today and Miss Nubian's golden queen. Okay, so Rhea Halu. So who was the 18th dynasty? Yes, yes, that is a very interesting question. I'm going to answer. The descendants of the 18th dynasty was the people known as the Ethiopians. Okay, because you have to remember the first king of the Ethiopians was Memnon, and historically Memnon is the Egyptian king Amenhotep, who was also known as Amenophis. Okay, and that's when Ethiopia was founded during his reign, when the expansion of the Kemetic Empire took place. Okay, when they started sending colonies to the west and south and east during the reign of Memnon. Okay, or Amenhotep, and there's also an account that Amenophis or Amenhotep, aka Memnon, when the 18th dynasty ended, Amenhotep and all of his people migrated to Ethiopia and settled in Ethiopia. And what is Ethiopia? Ethiopia is all of Africa south of the Sahara Desert. Okay, the eastern Ethiopia south of the Nile River, western Ethiopia south of the Libyan desert. Okay, or the Niger River area. Okay, let's make it more clear and say western Ethiopia was the Atlantic Ocean. Okay, all that land that borders the Atlantic Ocean, that was western Ethiopia. And that's why when you look on a 1700s map, you will see it is called the Ethiopian Sea or the Ethiopian Ocean, because that was also Ethiopia. Okay, now, and that is where the descendants of the 18th dynasty went. Okay, this is according to real history. This is the real history I speak. Okay, not according to the dishonest white racists that you hear every day. Okay, not according to the mainstream view, but according to real history. And you're getting this real history from me. Okay, all that fake history that's taught by the pseudo scholars, the so-called scholars in the school, gets no love here. It gets no entertainment here. And I'm not going to waste my time with it because it's garbage and it needs to be thrown in the garbage. It needs to be right where it belongs, in the garbage. Okay? Only the truth from the original written records is entertained here. And a lot of that stuff that you hear in your schools and what you're hearing or the popular uh, point of view or the mainstream view has nothing to do with the ancient original written records. Nothing to do. Absolutely nothing. It's all made up. Okay. But let's see here. We are all brothers and sisters of each other. We all emanate from Adam and Eve. Yeah, that's according to the Bible, but yeah, but still, we are still distinguished as Africans, Asians, and Europeans. So as an African, I put African first. So yes, we are of the human race, but we are still broken off into those three classes: African, Asian, and European. African, black, kinky hair, curly hair. European, white, straight hair. Asian, straight hair, medium color. Okay, but yeah, says borders, language, and culture are biblical. Yeah, um, yeah. I guess you can say that, but you know, but everybody have their opinion, So, but according to history, Africa really had no borders, especially Ethiopia. All that was considered one vast land with one name, you know. But yeah, let's continue. Yeah, we gave a shout out to the chat. It says Ria Halu. I cannot believe I thought ancient Egyptians was Arab when I was young. Yes, that's very interesting. That's very interesting because I used to believe the same thing when I was young. I really, when I was young, I had no idea who the Egyptians were. When I watched these Hollywood movies, I did not even know Egypt was in Africa when I was young. And I thought they was these Arab people too. But until I did my research and I seen um, the time when I really got off into this is when I seen these images that was created by Anheuser Busch, and it showed like the ancient kings of Egypt and ancient kings of Africa, and I saw those images, and I was just mind blown by those images. I was like, hmm. So this is how the Egyptians could have looked right here. And I was like, man, that looks a lot like me and my people. And when I did my research and I started to see the images on the walls of Egypt, I was like, these are black people. And that's when I found out Egypt was in Africa. So I found out Egypt was in Africa, and I found out the Egyptians were black people that looked like me, my family, and my race of people. Yeah. So that goes to show you, you know, how to use Hollywood to cover up the truth, you know, and you only fall for it when you're young and you don't know anything. But when you grow up, you find out the truth. But the truth is still there, and that's why we have to we have to unite as African people take power and save history from racism and white supremacy, because history is being destroyed and whitewashed by racism and white supremacy. And that's why we have to make sure these racists have no authority. Okay, we have to make sure that they never get in a position of authority. Okay, me personally, they need to be locked up for lying and forgery. That should be against the law, especially against history, real history. Because history is very, very important, and it should be respected. And if you violate it, there should be a consequence. Okay, there should be a consequence for violating history, because it is so dishonorable and it's so wrong. Okay, and that's why I say that, yeah, if they destroy an artifact, try to erase the color or change the color, there should be consequences for that. They should get some jail time, because that is wrong. Okay, and as descendants, as Africans and true descendants of the ancient Egyptians, it hurts us the most when we see that. See, it may not be a big deal to the European and the Arab, but it hurts us the most when we see that, because those are our ancestors. Okay, those are our ancestors. Now, yeah. But yeah, and that's why a lot of things are changing in the field of Egyptology, because it's been so much racism, lies, and falsehood going on in that field. And it still is. And a lot of these white Egyptologists, they are trying to pretend like they are on our side, but they're not. Okay, because they're not crediting the history to the true descendants. They're still trying to credit the history to these Arab foreigners, or these descendants of Arabs in modern day Egypt. See, we have some of them, they're they're um they're admitting that the ancient Egyptians were black and African. But what they're not admitting is the descendants of these black Egyptians are the African Americans and the sub-Saharan Africans. And that's what they have to admit. They're trying to say that the descendants of these black Egyptians are those Arabs, those Arab foreigners in modern day Egypt. And that is wrong. Okay. And that is why, I am against white Egyptology, because I see many Egyptologists as racist. That they're very racist, and if you listen to them closely, you will see that. And they try to falsify real history to push their agenda. Okay, so if they are admitting that the ancient Egyptians were black and African, then they also have to admit who their true descendants are. And after they do that, then we have no more problems. So they only telling half the truth. Okay, they're not telling the whole truth. Okay, so we cannot make it seem as if Egypt fell and Egypt was conquered and the Egyptians just stayed there. No, I mean, you can use your common sense to know that that is a lie. That that doesn't make any sense. The ancient Egyptians were long gone. That's why you have to know the history to know that. And a lot of these guys, they claim to know the history, they study the history, but they never entertain that truth. Okay, they never entertain what they read, but they constantly go against what they read and make up their own lies and make up their own bias, made up opinions. That is what they do. Okay, and I don't do that. I entertain what I read. I stick to that. And a lot of these guys, they have no integrity. They flip flop. No, I don't flip flop. Once I found out the truth, that is the truth I'm sticking to. I'm not switching over to anything else. And for those of you who know me, that is what I'm about. You know, that is who I am, and that is what I am about. And I will be that way to the day I die. Yes. So we have a new welcome, Joseph. Je, yeah, Jehazo Jehazo Fat. Okay, is waiting. Okay, okay, welcome, welcome. Yeah, but back to the subject. Yeah, we're gonna read one more source here. Then I'm gonna look at the comment section. So welcome everybody. Welcome. Please hit that like button. Hit that like button. I appreciate it. Thank you very much. Also, yeah, I'm gonna put my Cash app in the okay in the description. Let's see here. Okay, just a minute. Just a minute. Okay, and we're gonna get off into a source. Okay, we're gonna read one more source, and we're going to take some questions, answer some comments, and we're going to end it soon here. Yeah. Okay. Just give me a minute here. Okay. I'm just trying to pull something up here. Okay. Now. Okay. Yes. Welcome everybody. Welcome. Yes. We today we're getting the truth out today. Okay. We making it. We setting the record straight. We're making it known who the real descendants of the ancient Egyptians are and who the real ancestors of the modern Egyptians. Now, yeah, there's my Cash App link in the chat. Yeah, feel free to donate if you can. If you can't, well, then welcome anyway. Please hit the like button and show your support. But yeah, yeah. Also, shout out to May, Sister May, and Joey Ray for your donations yesterday. If you're new to the channel, feel free to donate. If you can, but if you can't, then yeah, just welcome anyway. But yeah, you know, so yeah, we're gonna get back to the subject. Now, so we're gonna go to another source, okay? And okay, let's go to another source, and we're gonna finish up here, okay? Now, this source here is from a book titled "Travels Through Syria and Egypt in the years 1783, 1784, and 1785." Okay, so let's get the let's get the 411 on this book. Okay, so and please try to take notes of this because these are very important sources. Okay, these are real, authentic sources. Okay, not some made up DNA study based on opinions, but real sources. Okay, let's see here. Okay, but yeah, we're going to get the okay. See here. Let's get the 411 on this book. I'm going to read it to you. Okay. So yeah, this book, okay, is titled Travels Through Syria and Egypt in the Years 1783, 1784, and 1785, written by Constantine Frankos Volney. Okay. And it was written in the year 1805. It was published in 1805. Okay. And the writer is Constantine Frankos Volney. Okay. So yeah, we're gonna go to this book. Okay, and this is close to the year of the 1800s. And okay, we're gonna start, okay, at page 69, chapter 6, okay, of travels through Syria and Egypt in the years 1783, 1784, and 1785. Okay, written by Constantine Francois Volney. Okay, so let's go to page 69 of this book, chapter 6. And the name of this chapter is of the various inhabitants of Egypt. And it goes on to say, okay, let's see here. Let me see here. Just want to make sure I got the right. Okay. So yeah, we're gonna read the introduction and we're gonna skip down, okay, and read what's relevant to the subject. Okay, I'm not gonna sit up here and bore you with reading a long paragraph. So yeah, let's okay. It goes on to say, okay, page 69, chapter 6, and it says in quotes, amid amid those revolutions which all nations have experienced, there are few countries which have preserved their original and primitive inhabitants pure and unmixed. Throughout the world, the same avarice and ambition which prompt individuals to encroach on each other's property have excited nations one against another. And the consequence of this opposition of interests and powers has been to introduce into state a foreign conqueror, who now, an insolent usurper, has despoiled the vanquished. Okay, has despoiled. Oh, hold on. Let me see here. Let me get that off my screen. Okay, that has despoiled the vanquished nation of the domain granted by them by nature. And now a more timid or more civilized invader has contented himself with participating in advantages refused him by his native soil. Okay. So in that chapter, he's talking about, the foreign invaders, you know, um, dominating over the natives of the land. But yeah, we're going to skip over some of this. Okay. And and it goes on to say here, same page 69. Here we see various races of inhabitants setting themselves in the same country, who adopting the same manners and interests have sometimes united in the most intimate alliances. But more frequently, we find them separated by political or religious prejudice and remaining perpetually distinct. Okay. So it's just talking about, yeah, the religious prejudice, and we just read, about the various race of inhabitants, setting themselves in the same country, adopting the same manners and interests. That's what it's talking about. Okay. And I advise you to read this book, whenever you get time to study it as well. But yeah, we're going to get to the main point here. Okay. So now we're going to go to page 70, and we're going to get off into the main point. And it says here, page 70, such is the case with Egypt, deprived 3 and 20 century years ago, okay, meaning 2,300 years ago, of her natural proprietors. She has seen her fertile fields successively a prey to the Persians, the Macedonians, the Romans, the Greeks, the Arabs, the Georgians, and at length the race of the Tartars, distinguished by the name of Ottoman Turks. Okay, so it's speaking is saying here that Egypt has been deprived of her land and her resources by the Persians, Macedonians, Romans, Greeks, Arabs, and the Ottoman Turks. Okay, and it says in the same page, it goes on to say, among so many nations, several of them have left vestiges of their transient possession. But as they have been blended in succession, they have been so confounded to render it very difficult to discriminate their respective characters. We may, however, still distinguish the inhabitants of Egypt into four principal races of different origin. Okay, so it says here that Egypt during that time is, okay, it is distinguished by four principal races of different origins. Okay, and yeah, and it goes on to say here. Okay, so let's continue on to the next. It says here, page 70, the first and most general disperse is that of the Arabs, which may be divided into three classes. First, the prosperity or the first, the posterity of those who on the conquest of Egypt by Amuru or Amir in the year 640 hastened from the Hijaz in every part of Arabia to settle in this country, so justly celebrated for its fertility. So he's saying here that the Arabs during the Arab invasion and conquest of Egypt in 640 by Amir were Arabs from the tribe of Hijaz. So it's saying here that the Hijaz tribes of Arabs invaded and settled Egypt during this time. Okay, so let's read that again. First, the posterity of those on the conquest of Egypt by Amuru in the year 640 hastened from the Hijaz and every part of Arabia to settle in this country, meaning Egypt, so justly celebrated for its fertility. Okay, so now we see, okay, the book is saying that many Arab tribes or many tribes from the Hijaz settled in Egypt, invaded Egypt and settled in Egypt. Okay, okay. And now we're on page 71, and it continues and says, in quote, everyone was anxious to possess lands in it, and the delta was presently filled with foreigners, to the prejudice of the vanquished Greeks. The first race is preserved in the present class of the philos, or the fellaheen we just spoke of recently, or the husbandmen and artisans who still retain the characteristic features of their ancestors, okay? Meaning their Arab ancestors. So it's telling you, okay, that the delta was presently filled with foreigners, to the prejudice of the vanquished Greeks. The vanquished Greeks, the previous foreigners who was there. So the Arabs, when it says filled with foreigners, it is referring to the Arabs, replacing the Greeks. Okay? Okay? And it's saying that the ancestors of these Arabs are the fellas, okay? Or the husbandmen and the artisans who still retain the characteristic feature of their ancestors, of their Arab ancestors. Okay? Not native Egyptian ancestors, Arab ancestors. Okay? That's what the text is saying. So we just found out, according to this book, the ancestors of the Fellahin and modern Egyptians, again, were various Arab tribes who invaded and settled in Egypt. Okay? So we're not going to read the whole thing. Let's go to the next one. And it says here, on page 72, it says, in quote, a second class of Arabs is that of the Africans or Occidentals, okay, or the Westerners from the West, who have arrived at different time periods and different chiefs and united themselves to the former. Like them, they are descended from the Musalam or the Musalam conquerors or Muslim conquerors who expelled the Greeks from Mauritania. Okay? So it's even telling you these Arabs from the west or from Mauritania were also descendants of the Muslim conquerors who expelled the Greeks from Mauritania. Okay? That is who they are. Not native Africans, but Arabs. That's what it's saying. So now we're getting a clear picture of who the true ancestors of the modern day Egyptians are. Okay? And this is why your pseudo scholars are scared to even entertain this. They don't even want this entertained. That's why they ignore it and instead tell you their lies based on their opinions. That's what they want you to believe. And that's not good enough. That's not the truth. Okay. So let's move on. So now we just found out that the ancestors of the Fellahims and the classes, the majority class in Egypt was the Arabs, the descendants of Arabs. Okay. So now let's go to the next page. Okay. We're going to go to page 74, and it says in quote, in a second race of the inhabitants are the Copts, called in Arabic El Kobits. Okay, several families of them are to be found in the Delta, but the greatest part inhabit the Said, where they in some places occupy whole villages. Okay, both history and tradition attest their descent from the people who were conquered by the Arabs. That is, from that mixture of Egyptians, Persians, and above all, Greeks, who under the Ptolemies and Constantines were so long in possession of Egypt. Okay? They differ from the Arabs by their religion, which is Christianity. So now we see, okay? Now we see, according to the book, even the Copts, who make up 10% of the modern day Egyptian population, they were a mixture of Egyptians, Persians, and Greeks, and also Romans. When it says Greeks, it's talking about Romans too. So they have a way of doing that. But because some ancients they saw the Greeks and Romans as the same and similar. So yeah, but that's why we call it the Greco-Roman period. But yeah, but it's saying that they were a mixture of Egyptians, Persians, and Greeks. So pretty much the Egyptian part of the Copts got wiped out because they were dominated by an inflection, okay, by a large majority of Greeks and Persians. So it's saying that they are a mixture of Egyptians, Persians, and Greeks. So pretty much that they're no longer Egyptian. That Egyptian bloodline got wiped out. It's or maybe it's very little in there, but yeah, even the Copts, okay, and the Copts are a small percent of the of the modern day Egyptian population. Okay, that is referring to the Copts, not the 90% Muslim population, but the 10% Copts. Even the 10% Copts were not 100% pure Egyptians, but they were mostly Greeks and Persians and Romans. That is what the book is saying. So I'm not gonna read the whole thing. If you want, I will I read this book several times, many times. I studied it, and I advise you, to take notes and go read this book. And it's called Travels Through Syria and Egypt in the years 1783, 1784, 1785, written by Constantine Frankos Volney. Okay. Now, yeah. So there it is. The truth right there. The real ancestors. Okay. And I'm going to get off more into these books. There's a whole lot more. Oh yeah. And when I get my StreamYard and be able to show my sources, I'm going to get off, go more in depth into these books. Okay, so based on that book, the majority of the population in Egypt are descendants of Arabs, and even the minority, the Copts, were a mixture of Persians, Greeks, and Romans. Okay, and that is the truth from the source of that time, and that is the true ancestors of the modern day Egyptians. Okay, that is the truth. The ancestors of the modern day Egyptians were Arab foreigners who invaded Egypt. And if you are a modern day Egyptian saying you are a descendant of a pharaoh and you are a descendant of the ancient Egyptians, you are lying to yourself. Okay, you're lying to yourself. Okay, and you need to go read and study the history of Egypt and find out the truth. Okay, so there it is. Okay, you're not going to get this truth entertained on those other channels. Okay, and you can go back and watch this video. But yeah, the true ancestors of the modern day Egyptians are Arab foreigners who invaded Egypt in different time periods. You are not a descendant of the pharaohs. You're not a descendant of the ancient Egyptians. It is impossible. It is impossible. Okay, so let's look at the chat. We're going to answer some questions, and we're going to end it here soon. So yeah, peace, brother, Magi Commander. Yes, we got Magi Commander in the house. Yes, yeah, me and Magi Commander. He's we go way back. Yeah, he used to support my channel. Way back in the days. Yes, peace, brother Magi Commander. It's a pleasure to have you here. Okay. So yeah, there it is. So that is going to be it for the sources. Okay. So I advise that you go back and read that source. Okay. Take note of it. And when you hear these pseudo scholars and these fake geneticists saying that the modern day Egyptians are descendants of the ancient Egyptians, you show them that source. And if you don't have it available, you reference that source to them. You say, according, okay, to the book titled an account of the manners and customs of the modern Egyptians, the modern Egyptians are descendants of Arabs. The ancestors of the modern Egyptians are Arab foreigners. That's what you tell them. Okay. You tell them, no, they are wrong. Okay. And if they say according to genetics, you tell them, well, that is according to genetics, not according to history. According to history, the truth, the real history, the true ancestors of the modern day Egyptians are Arab foreigners who invaded Egypt and settled in Egypt in different time periods. And that is the 100% honest truth. Okay. So now we are done with that. Okay. So is there any questions on the source that I just read, or anything on your mind? Put it in the chat. We're going to go a little bit longer here to answer some questions. Yeah. You know, but yeah, this is a subject that has to be discussed. And hopefully, when I get my StreamYard, I can get some more scholars or so-called scholars or some more participants to have this discussion. Because this is one of the most controversial discussions that many are scared to have. Okay, it says Ria Halu. Kemet was a world superpower at one point. May Africa and African descendants rise again to the heights of this world. Yes, yes, I certainly agree with that. Yes, definitely. And it's only going to happen if we reclaim our ancient Egyptian Kemetic ancestors and accept what the ancient original records say and accept the truth. Okay? And then things will start to get real and we will start to rise and grow as a power and we will start to see real change. Okay? But yeah, and there it is. We just read the source. The modern day Egyptians are not the descendants of the ancient Egyptians. And if your DNA is saying that, your DNA is lying. Your DNA is false. Okay? Okay? Because your DNA is not the authority on history. History is the authority on history. Okay? When it comes to history, the truth is in history, not DNA. And I will tell you that with all confidence. Okay? Your DNA has no say in what history says. The truth is in the history. And according to history, the ancestors of the modern day Egyptians are Arab foreigners who invaded Egypt and settled in Egypt in different time periods. And that's going to be my last time saying it. I just had to say it again. But so there it is. And we're going to bring out some more sources soon. And for those of you who appreciate this discussion and want to see this discussion take place on a larger scale, then feel free to donate to my Cash App. So I can have more time to do YouTube videos and I'm gonna pay for my well, I'm gonna pay that out of my own pocket to get my StreamYard back so I can try to hopefully invite some more guests or some more people that I can chat with person to person, and we can discuss this. Whether if you disagree with me or not, I want to hear what you got to say, and I want to know what source is your claim based on. You know, but yeah, we need to have this discussion. Now you see the truth that comes out when we have this discussion. We find out the truth. We find out, okay, that modern Egyptians are descendants of Arab foreigners, okay? Yes, and there's more. There's more to the subject. There is certainly more. And also later on, okay, just let you know now. And also, yes, I'm going to post a video of this subject on my Pharaoh Mitzrahim channel. So that way you can see the quote posted. And I'm gonna give you a honest, breakdown of the quotes I just read. I'm gonna post that video so this truth can get out to more people because it needs to get out. The conversation needs to happen. It needs to get real. Okay. These liars and frauds need to stop ducking and hiding. Okay, and come out and admit that they are wrong and admit what they're saying is not supported by history. That's what needs to happen. Okay? This conversation needs to take place and the truth needs to come out. And these guys need to stop lying because it is the lies that is setting us back. Okay? And when this truth is established, then you will start to see the change and the benefit and the rise and the growth of our people, of African American people here in America, in Africans, sub-Saharan Africans in Africa. It is time for this truth to get out, to be accepted and be acknowledged. So we as African people can rise and be number one and take our rightful position. Number one. You should accept no less than number one. Okay? But unfortunately, because of the lies and the disunity, we are on the bottom. But that's why we pushing this truth so that can change. Okay? And it is going to change. I have faith in that. I have faith as long as we entertain this truth and get it out and expose and debunk these liars, this truth is going to be accepted and acknowledged. And then we're going to start to see real change. And that's when you're going to start seeing more black billionaires, black trillionaires. Okay? We're going to grow as a people. Okay? Because we are rising above slavery. We are rising above slavery and we are reclaiming our royal throne, our lineage. It's to being number one in the world. Okay? And we're going to start, once black people start accepting you are a descendant of the ancient Egyptians and stop lying to yourself, you're going to see more black presidents. You're going to see more black senators. Okay? We are going to take back our country. We're going to take back our planet. Okay? And that's why you have to start supporting me. Support the true historians. And stop supporting these frauds and liars who are lying to you, telling you you are not Egyptian. And start supporting the real historians who are telling you the truth and telling you, yes, you are Egyptian. You are the only Egyptian. No one else can take that from you. Okay? You are the true Egyptian, African American, black man, black woman, African American. Black people in Africa. It is the truth. It's not a feel-good belief. It is the truth. That's what it is. You have to start accepting it. Everything else you're being told is based on lies and opinions. There are no records to support it. Trust me when I say that. Trust me when I say that. Okay? I've been on the same panels with these guys from the so-called big league, from the HOK. Okay? And they're liars. They have no evidence. I questioned them. I interrogated them and they couldn't respond. They mumbled and stumbled. They stuttered. They have no evidence. They have no records. They have no truth. All they have is their opinion. Trust me when I say that. And hopefully I can get some on here on my platform and I can show you how much of a liar and a fraud they is. But hey, a lot of them, they're scared. They fear me. They fear me because they know I know the truth. And they know I know that they are a liar and they're a fraud. But yeah, yeah, is there's if they're not if there's not going to be any more questions, yeah, we're going to end it here. Yes, I want to thank you all for joining my live stream. Yeah, we had fun getting this truth out. We read a source, okay? I read a source, you heard it with your ears, okay? And now you put it on pen and paper and you go research it. Simple as that, okay? So yes, peace out to everyone, okay? Peace out. You guys enjoy your day. We're going to end this live stream. It's been a pleasure serving you. It's been a pleasure, getting this truth out. It's been a pleasure entertaining this subject, and hopefully we can take it to the next level. Okay. So please, and before I close out, please hit the like button, donate if you can. If you can't, and yeah, we still love you. Yeah, so yes. So that's gonna be it. Thank you, Royal Family. Thank you for coming out, and hopefully in future live streams we can make this more interesting and we have more time, and we can get more people on here, and we can make this more interesting, because what these other live streams on these other panels are doing is it's not right. Their intention is bad, and their intention is to lie, and we're not going to do that on this live stream. But yeah, yes, peace and hotep to you too, Sister May 92001. Yes, peace to you, sister. Yeah, well, that's gonna yeah, we're gonna conclude it right there. So yes, so all you guys, you stay safe. Stay safe, be wise, make the right decisions, keep yourself healthy, keep yourself clean, and and stay tuned for the next live stream, and stay tuned for my next videos on my other channel, Pharaoh Mitzrahim. Okay. So yes, show your support, hit the like button, subscribe if you're new, and and that's gonna and we're gonna call it an end there. So peace out, brothers and sisters. And that's gonna be it. So yes, I'm closing out. So this is your brother Radio One, aka Pharaoh Mitzrahim, signing out, saying until next time, Egypt stays in Africa. Peace, Hotep, and Amun Ra. Peace. Peace out, brothers and sisters. See you next time. Peace.